It's that stone of hope that allows me to wake up and to stand to Donald Trump and to say, Donald Trump, I'm not afraid of you. It's that stone of hope. It's that stone of hope that gives me power. That's that stone of hope and the belief in each and every one of you to let you know that I'm not going to allow my ancestors, all of those who died for me, to be in this position. I am not going to disgrace them and disappoint them. I am going to use the law both as a sword and as a shield.
Well, the Justice Department reportedly is launching a grand jury probe of New York Attorney General Letitia James over her civil fraud case against President Trump. The Attorney General's team, as you might expect, is firing back.
But if you can have the presidency go against the people who use the courts of law to find him wrong when he was wrong, then they have taken this idea of retribution to places that, as I pointed out before, the authors like George Orwell would have never dreamed in their worst nightmares.
Let's bring in Ronald Chapman II, federal defense attorney and Supreme Court expert. So what do you think about Abbe Lowell, who is representing Letitia James, the Attorney General? What do you think about him calling this retribution on the part of the federal government?
You know, what looks Orwellian to me is landing a $454 million judgment despite no fraud being found, and then racking up $100,000 a day in interest while we wait for the New York appellate court to make a decision. I think that the only thing they can do right now is to claim retribution, but the reality is you have a prosecutor who ran on the idea that Donald Trump was going to be targeted. She fulfilled her promise by targeting him. And when we get to look at this communication and you look at the campaign emails, you'll see that there's plenty of evidence that Donald Trump was specifically targeted because of his political views. That's why this investigation also includes the NRA and potential other political prosecutions that occurred out of that office.
And it isn't just Donald Trump that she sued. She sued the New York City Police Department, right?
She's gone after everybody she can on her political hit list in order to fulfill that promise that she made. Listen, in this country, it is absolutely insane to see a prosecutor stand up and declare that somebody is an illegitimate president despite the will of the people. It is insane to see somebody stand up and specifically target someone before they have achieved that office and engaged in a full investigation. That is the most Orwellian thing I have ever seen. This is finding the person and fitting the crime. That's exactly what happened in New York. And certainly Pam Bondi is going to get to the bottom of it. The subpoenas are the first step. The information will likely be sealed, but as witnesses start to testify or proffer, we'll probably start getting some information about what truly was going on inside of that office. I think we can expect a lot of privilege fights to occur and some federalism issues. So there will be a few interesting legal battles coming out of this as well.
I mentioned that Abbe Lowell is the attorney she's hired. Now, he's well known for taking on high-profile clients who are in big trouble. People like Hunter Biden, for instance, although he also represented Ivanka Trump and her husband, Jared Kushner. But here's what Abbe Lowell has to say about this case.
When we sent the letter, there was deafening silence. I didn't even get an acknowledgement that it was received, let alone a conversation about what I said. So let that serve as whatever it is and their answer to my request. I also, in that letter, as you saw, she had quoted her in her confirmation hearings about what she said she would not do to become somebody carried out political retribution, which, like so many of the statements people are making to get themselves confirmed by the Senate, was good for the day that they said it, and then 5 minutes later, it doesn't become something that they carry forward. And one more thing to say about this so-called mortgage fraud allegation. Let's just call what it is, because I did set this out in the letter as well. You know, if you have a file on your house, bunches of pieces of paper, and one of those pieces of paper say that it was a residence when it was an investment property, or vice versa, but every other piece of paper in the same file makes that clear, so that you have one that might have had a box checked wrong, that's not the subject of a criminal investigation or case. It could be a mistake.
By a special attorney.
Let alone appointing a special attorney. And on that, let's also point out something that I'm sure maybe people haven't figured this out. So what had happened in the last 2 days, Attorney General Bondi appointed the person who couldn't get himself confirmed to be an actual prosecutor. the person who they wanted to be the confirmed U.S. attorney here in the District of Columbia, to be a special attorney, which is a designation under the regulations and rules for a specific purpose. And he is charged with pursuing this investigation of so-called mortgage impropriety against both Attorney General Letitia James and U.S. Senator Adam Schiff of California, both of which have reasons to have said on their property documents what they did. But everybody note what was missing.
Yep.
Apparently, they didn't decide to include Attorney General of Texas Ken Paxton, who news reports indicate that he has 3 residences, 3 homes, all of which he has declared to be his primary residence. So I guess it means that in the world of weaponization, it's only weaponized against Democrats, that the idea of selective enforcement is fine, and that only Democrats get scrutinized, and Republicans who do no better and perhaps a lot worse get a free pass as long as there's an R in front of their political party.
Because she's accused of falsifying mortgage documents in order to get a more favorable interest rate. Now, Abby Lowell says it's just a slip of the pen. How do you see it?
I remember watching a trial go down in New York where an American president was forced to sit there while box checking was the entire issue that was being litigated in that courtroom. And to hear Abby Lowell get up in front of the American people and say, this is just a box checking issue in response to a fraud probe, it's incredibly inconsistent. What's good for the goose is good for the gander. The reality here is that there was a misrepresentation made related to her residence and her property. That's something that I'm sure a jury will get down to the bottom of. But the true story here, the real story, is the investigation that's about to go down into the communication in that office. And I'm sure there's going to be a lot more communication than just these campaign emails and just what we've already heard from the Attorney General here. That indicates that she was specifically targeting Donald Trump and other people. I think that this case isn't going to be too hard to make. It is a violation of the law to engage in a conspiracy to deprive somebody of their civil rights. And I'm sure that if that type of case gets to a jury, hopefully the right jury, there will be a pretty quick decision to see that civil rights were violated here.
You have an interesting quote that I wanted to share with our viewers as we sign off. You write, the Attorney General's office is supposed to be a shield for the public, not a sword for the party.
It's that stone of hope that allows me to wake up and to stand to Donald Trump and to say, Donald Trump, I'm not afraid of you. It's that stone of hope. It's that stone of hope that gives me power, that's that stone of hope and the belief in each and every one of you to let you know that I'm not going to allow my ancestors, all of those who died for me to be in this position, I am not going to disgrace them and disappoint them. I am going to use the law both as a sword and as a shield.
That's all for today. Thank you. If you want global news to keep you up to date on any new developments, please subscribe our channel and forward our content with your friends on social media and email. Thank you very much for keep supporting me. Stay safe, be blessed. Namaste.
Thank you, God bless you, and God bless America.